he won't have any more power for eternity. That's over. Because that was the line at which Satan had been defeated. Okay, read the next verse 32. As for me, if I am lifted up from the earth, I will draw all people to myself. How was he going to do it? The lifted up, he says, verse 33, John says, he said this to indicate what kind of death he was about to die. By saying, I'm lifted up. And if you go all the way back to Moses with the bronze serpent on the pole, and he said, so the future, he talks about the Son of Man will be lifted up on a pole. Okay? And that was the same thing. And so he's saying, I'll be lifted up. And if you remember that one, the people that looked, the Israelites that looked at that bronze serpent on that pole were the ones that lived, and the ones that didn't were the ones that died. And here's the indication of that again. But he's saying, if I am lifted up from the earth, I will draw all people to myself. That doesn't mean everybody's going to heaven. Boy, people, universalists, they love that part. They say, hey, look at there, he's going to bring us all to heaven. That's not what it means. But it means this is the way that I'm going to draw them to me if they'll just follow, if they'll open their eyes, if they'll uncover their face and actually look and follow. Then they'll have the opportunity to be drawn. So after that, we go forward, and I won't get into much more. We ran out of time anyway. But looking at how Jesus' entry, looking at what he says to these people that are standing around, but looking especially at what Jesus is calling people to do, preaching and teaching right in the last days of his life, drawing people to live for him, to follow him, to abandon themselves. And I have more verses that we can look up, go over. And Paul talks about dying to self.